Hello, and welcome to this video. This video is about whether or not High School Musical is as good as people remember it to be. Oftentimes when I hear about High School Musical, I hear about how nostalgic it is and how so many people love it and think it's the best movie of their childhood, and how it's one of the best Disney Channel movies. And so I was thinking about whether or not this is actually true, and wanted to see for myself, being older and watching it, whether or not it was still as good as people say it is. So I decided to rewatch the movie. And so here are some of my thoughts about High School Musical. So how the movie starts is Troy and Gabriella, the protagonist, their parents forced them to go to a kids party in a hotel for New Year's Eve. I personally have never really heard of hotels doing this, of having kid parties. Like, I've only ever seen them in movies, and I've never really seen them for myself, whether or not there are actual kid parties at hotels. But I feel like it's kind of unrealistic for these parents to force their kids to go. Like, I know my parents would have never allowed me to go if I was by myself. Like, if I had someone with me, like another family member or like a friend, then maybe we would be allowed to go. But like, the fact that these people are like forcing their kids to go to this party, I don't know. I would never be allowed to go to a kids party like this in the middle of nowhere by myself with people that I don't even know. So that's a little weird. Also, like, why is Gabriella holding a book at this party? Like, I feel like if she really wanted to read, her mom was going out, so like she could have just snuck back into the room, and I don't think her mom would have known, and she could have just read her book in the hotel room and no one would have known. But whatever, she's not exactly the smartest in that sense. They also like immediately start singing. Like, I don't know if they know this song, but like, also the karaoke screens are so far away. Like, how are you able to read this? Like, how are you able to read the words and know what the song is? Like, it just seems a little weird and it doesn't really make sense. Also, like, Troy just seems way more into singing than Gabriella is. Like, I know that she has stage fright and that she's shy, but like, Troy is like so into singing, where it's like I feel like you would just assume that like he sings like on his free time, but like constantly throughout the movie he's just like pulling away from singing. The fact that he's like so enthusiastic during this first number, like, I think he just has suppressed his love for music so much, and it's just coming out in this first number. So it's just that's a little funny. Also, throughout the movie I noticed that like they're trying to make Gabriella like kind of clueless, but like she's also the smartest person like in the school, so like I feel like they couldn't pick and choose which route they wanted to go with. Like, how is she unable to see Troy with his bowl cut right in front of her? Like, you're telling me that you wouldn't recognize this hair and be like, oh my god, that's the guy I met over winter break? Like, that is so obviously Troy. I don't know how she was unable to see him until after class ended too. Like, he was staring right at her for the whole 5 minutes of class, and like she wasn't able to recognize him. That just seemed a little weird. Also, Troy doesn't know how to act natural. Like, who is standing like this around the school? Like, someone needs to put this boy in drama class because he literally does not know how to act natural. Now we have our second musical number, which is Get Your Head in the Game. And I don't know if it's just me, but like, it just like wasn't as good as I remembered it to be. The bridge of the song sounds like Troy was trying to write poetry and decided to share it with the class, but it just like was not hitting as well as it used to. But yeah, like, I don't know, this whole song is really bizarre, and the more I listen to it, the more like it just seems like the rhythm is really weird. But I don't know, that might just be me. Another thing about this movie that I forgot about is just how angry Troy's dad gets. Like, he has such intense anger issues. Like, I don't know why he's getting this angry so quickly, Like, I've never been a part of a sports team, but like this seems really extreme on how like his dad is just so angry about Troy doing anything but basketball. Does he not realize that having a variety of extracurriculars will increase his chances of getting into college? Like, I don't think they're looking for people that just eat, breathe, and live a sport. Like, I'm sure they're looking for well-rounded applicants. So the fact that his dad is so angry about him doing anything but basketball is like, dude, you're setting up your son for failure. But yeah. Another thing they never really touched on was like, how does Troy know how to read music? And Gabriella too. Troy and Gabriella are reading the sheet music as if they've studied music for like years. They're reading it so casually. Like, are they just reading for the lyrics, but like they're on key, so like they know how to read the notes? Like, I feel like Troy has like secretly been teaching himself music and like how to read music and how to sing for like years, because there's no way the whole thing with the karaoke, like how is he able to just be on key that quickly? How is he able to just read music so casually? Like, this guy definitely is secretly teaching himself music and no one can convince me otherwise. He just needed an excuse to be able to sing and to be able to show his music capabilities to the world. Regarding this song of like sticking to the status quo and stuff, I feel like this song is still relevant of like people assigning themselves or other people assigning other people labels. Like Troy is like labeled as like the dumb jock and stuff, and like him getting over that. I feel like that's still a problem in high school, and not even high school. I feel like it kind of starts around middle school, is like when cliques start forming and labels start forming. But I feel like it's definitely gotten a lot better than it could have been. I also still don't understand where Gabriella had to have hid in order for Sharpay to not have seen her. Like, is there a second half of this bathroom that like we just don't see? Or is like Sharpay blind? Like, how are we unable to see Gabriella? Like, where is she? Does she secretly have powers? Like, who knows? But maybe that's why she can magically know how to read music, because like she's actually an alien. Like, I don't know, but we have to figure this out. Start the conspiracy theories. Now we've reached the whole intervention part of the movie, which is like kind of weird. The whole basketball team ambushing Troy in the locker room. Like, why is this whole team so preoccupied with what Troy is doing in his like personal time? Is he not allowed to do homework or study or eat or breathe without focusing on basketball? Like, why are they so offended over him wanting to sing? It just seems like they're so preoccupied with what Troy is doing. Like, I feel like Chad has no other hobbies besides being the basketball guy and just like fawning over Troy all the time. Like, he's trying to make Troy one thing. Him and Troy's dad are both trying to make Troy one thing, but Troy's just like, dude, I want to sing. So yeah, these guys need to chill. Taylor too, you're like trying to become like president of the United States. Like, you're trying to get into a good college. Like, you better than anyone should know that like you should have a well-versed and well-rounded extracurriculars in high school. Like, why are you telling her to stop singing? Like, just because you're a part of one group does not mean that you're guaranteed to like go to every college. Like, being a part of multiple groups and showing that you're like a well-rounded person, like that will get you to the best college. So like her whole speech doesn't make sense. Like, you'll be successful if you're singing. Like, it's okay. Like, just chill. And she literally makes Gabriella like cry right in front of her. And she's like, oh no, want to go eat? Like, what? Like, girl, chill. Like, what are you doing? You literally just made a girl cry and you're like, oh, let's go out and eat together. Like, that was just weird. Another thing that I don't think I really realized as much as a kid when I was watching this movie, but I really like the balance between songs and plot. Like, not a lot of Disney Channel movies get it right, where sometimes it's like all songs and then it just feels like just like song overload. But like, I really like how it's a good balance between like, here are the songs, and like the songs make sense at the times when they're singing. Like, it's showing like character development, or like it's showing more about a character and like their feelings, that like in a creative way. And so I really enjoy that. And like even the singings for like auditions and stuff, like I feel like those really show like who the characters are, like Sharpay and Ryan. Like they go all out and they're like so into it. And that kind of shows their vanity, and you know, very rich and very successful and very arrogant about their skills, because they're like going all out. But I feel like, you know, compared to like Troy and Gabriella singing, like they're more mellow and stuff because it's like new, and they're also like the protagonists and stuff, so like they have to be more relatable. But it's really interesting how they used music in this movie, and it's really nice. So I applaud them for that. But also, like, some of the songs are also just sounding really weird. Like, I don't know if it was just my computer speakers or what, but Gabriella's solo song just sounded so off key, or like there was something like off about it. Like, I don't know if it was just because of my computer or not, but it was sounding a little weirder than I remembered it to be. Also, like, why does the school have huge posters of their basketball players? Like, that's just so weird and tacky. Like, they're literally high school players. They haven't like signed onto like any college team. So it's like, why are they like so fixated on these like players? It's just so weird. Also, like the amount of school spirit that's like in the school, I feel like it's just so unrealistic. Like, who is doing this much for their school? I don't know. Like, my high school wasn't the best in sports. Like, we were okay, but like even then, like some of our teams were like really good, but like no one was showing this amount of school spirit. So I don't know. It seems a little unrealistic. Also, in my humble opinion, I feel like Bop to the Top is the best song of this movie. Like the choreography, the costumes, the production design, the bedazzled microphone. I mean, it's just top tier. Like, truly. I mean, have you seen Ryan's hat? Like, the fedora, like it's just incredible, and it deserved a Grammy, and I think it was robbed of one. The fact that like this entire movie is like building up to like this audition and this callback, and that these characters are able to make it to the callback despite their own engagements, like with the game and the decathlon and stuff, like the fact that they didn't get their own scene where they find out that they've been cast as the leads just feels a bit, I don't know, like it's a little disappointing. Like, you only find out through dialogue, and that too, it's like Sharpay being like, oh, well, I guess I'm your understudy. Like, it just feels lacking a bit, because like accomplishment, and you're not even going to show it in its own scene. Like, I get because maybe they were wanting to make the final number in the gym, but I feel like they could have done one of those things like where it could have just been its own scene, you know, like how sometimes in musicals, like they have like a musical montage and stuff of like where the characters are like afterwards. I feel like they could have done that, but they didn't, and I feel like that was a bit of a miss. And you know, Troy and Gabriella worked so hard. They should have got their own scene of finding out that they were cast. And I feel like it also owed to Sharpay and Ryan to feel a bit of that disappointment and have that punch to their ego of being like, oh, okay, like we're not the best, and that's okay too. So yeah, that's something that's a little disappointing. But overall, I feel like this movie is a really good movie. Like, I was having a fun time rewatching it, and the songs, I feel like the songs are kind of a hit and miss. I think I thought they were better when I was younger. Like, I feel like Bop to the Top and Breaking Free were good songs. I feel like, although this movie was cringy at times, because let's be honest, every Disney Channel movie is a little bit cringy, I will have to say that, like, I do think it's a good movie, and it's not just nostalgia when people talk about it. Because, like, I was having a fun time. Like, even though some of the songs weren't as good as I remembered them to be, this movie does have a really good message of staying true to yourself and don't be afraid to try new things and not limiting someone to just one box or label. And so, like, I do think it deserves its place as saying that it is a good movie people like, is it the best Disney Channel movie? I don't know about that, but it's definitely deserves its place as being a good movie, and I think it has influenced a lot of people on how to treat people, you know? You learn as a kid, like, that it's okay to have different interests and not all have to do the same thing, and I think that's really good and important. But yeah, these are just my thoughts about the movie. If you feel similarly or if you feel differently, let me know. You can leave a comment. And I would love to know your opinion and what songs you think are the best, whether you think this movie is the best Disney Channel movie, or if you think it's not really worth the hype, let me know. I would love to hear all of your opinions. But yeah, thank you for taking the time to watch, and feel free to subscribe and like if you so wish. And yeah.